Hello, hello, everyone. I hope all is well. Please let me know that you can hear me here on YouTube and you can hear me on Facebook. Please let me know if you can hear me. Hey, Faith, how are you? Please let me know if you can hear me loud and clear so that we can move forward with today's live stream. Welcome, Faith. Welcome, everyone else who is coming into the live. Again, please let me know if you can hear me effectively before I continue, because I may have to end the live and then come back on. All right, Faith says she can hear me, so we're going to jump right in. Yeah, I just got an error message. Let's see. We're having trouble streaming to Instagram. Yep. We're just going to leave that there, and that's fine. So everybody who's coming in, we are going to go ahead and jump in. Welcome, welcome. I hope all is well. Thank you. Kim says, I can hear you. Excellent. So for those who are not familiar with live streaming, right? Because y'all care, I'm going to tell you the backstory anyway. So there's a platform called StreamYard, right? So for those who create content who live stream, what you do is you purchase an account on StreamYard, and allows you to broadcast on multiple platforms at the same time. Normally it's seamless. Today it was not. And I could actually hear Instagram going at the same time, which means that I wouldn't be able to talk because it would be confusion. So we are only on YouTube, which is, I told y'all to come to YouTube anyway. We're only on YouTube, and we are only on Facebook tonight, but that is A-okay. If you are new to my page, if you've never seen me before, my name is Allison Wellington. As a matter of fact, let me see. I'm going to see if I could stream on my phone. I'm going to help Instagram out, even though Instagram be hard-headed and don't listen like they're supposed to. Let's see. Be patient with me. Facebook, be patient with me. YouTube. Where you going? Oh, you know what? We could do it. It's not too bad. I'm only on 13%, so we'll see how long this is going to last, but we can do it. Okay. Hi, everybody. Oh, thank you, Faith. Faith said she liked and she subscribed. All right. So Instagram land, even though I don't want y'all here, even though I actually want you on YouTube, I'm still going to be, I don't know, kind is a strong word, but nah, I don't like that. Let's just go with nothing. All right. I'm going to break my own rules, and I'm streaming separately from you guys right now, even though where I really want you to be is on Instagram. So it's off Instagram and onto YouTube. So comment or DM the word YouTube so I can take your questions, right? Oh, thank you for asking. So my YouTube channel is Align with Allison. So you can just search Align with Allison, or you can comment or DM the word YouTube, and automatically you'll get a pop-up message that has the link directly to it. So let's pin that comment. All right, folks, let's get into it. So sorry for all the delays. If you are new to my page, my name is Allison Wellington, certified dating and relationship coach, and I primarily work with busy professional women to teach them how to attract and keep the partners that they deserve. I like to call my community the land of love, because that is what we are trying to create. Now, my branding, excuse me, of delivery is a little bit harsh, some may say. However, my intention is good. My intention is to help people to create the love lives that they desire. Therefore, I might have to be a little bit tough in my delivery so that it lands. Okay. That's my only intention. It's never to hurt anyone, but it is to help you. Okay. With that being said, we are going to get into tonight's live stream topic. If again, you are new, you may not know, normally I go live 3 times a week: Mondays, 12 noon Eastern, Wednesdays, 5 p.m. Eastern, Fridays, 12 noon Eastern. However, I've been doing a 5-day live stream. I've been doing a 5-day live stream in preparation for my next training, which is Where the Marriage-Minded Men Are in 2026. The reason why I chose this as my topic to host a training on Tuesday, the 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern, is because that's one of the number one questions I get. People constantly ask me, Allison, where do I find men who want what I want. How do I position myself? Where do I go? What event should I be attending? How do I navigate dating apps? Like, what do I need to do differently to have the relationship that I desire or to be found by my future husband? So instead of me answering that question 1,000 times, I figured that I would do it effectively in one place, which is going to be that training. Yeah, but we'll do this. This is decent. The lighting on Instagram ain't all that. I don't like this neither. I don't like this either. Oh Lord. I don't like this either. Instagram, just come over to YouTube, please. The lighting is made for YouTube. The lighting is not made for Instagram. This is kind of harsh. You're making me feel a little uncomfortable. All right, so help a sister out. With that being said, I don't want you guys to just jump right into our training on Tuesday without being prepared. I put the link in right now in the comments right now on YouTube, on the comments on Facebook. You can click the link in my bio. If you're watching this on Instagram, you can click the link in my bio everywhere, right? With that being said, I don't want you just to jump into this training and not be prepared, because I'm telling you now, just knowing where to go is not enough. That's like someone saying to me, Allison, how did you lose the 40 pounds that you lost twice in 2 years postpartum, right? Allison, how do you do it? And my answer is the gym. That's literally where I went to do a lot of the work, right? Or less fast food restaurants. That's literally where I went, but that alone is not a good enough answer, right? That alone it's not specific enough. So when you guys ask me, where do I go to be around like-minded, equally yoked, marriage-minded men? And then I say conferences, I've answered your question, but it doesn't really give enough context to really make a difference. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? And so again, before you guys invest in where the marriage-minded men actually are, which is my paid training on Tuesday, the 23rd at 7 p.m., I want to give you guys some context that I can never fit in an hour. I want to give you guys some of the back end work. I like to rebrand as effort. I want to give some of you guys the back end work, the back end effort, so that you are better prepared as you go into the training on Tuesday, where I'm going to give you the hard and fast stuff. But again, I don't want you just paying your 27 and then now you think that you have all the answers, Sway. This is why we're doing all this back end work. Okay. Kristen said, good evening. Hello, Kristen. Welcome. Welcome. I appreciate you. All right. So we're going to get into it. So today's theme, and I have my notes over here, so I apologize if you guys see me shifting. We are talking about why smart, successful women still struggle with commitment. Why smart, successful women still struggle with commitment. Okay. So this is the thing. I want to talk to women who are doing everything else right in life and historically have done everything right in life. I actually just posted a reel about this, right? So many of you guys are competent. You are more than competent. You are established. You are responsible. You are financially sound. You are revered in your workplace. You are doing well for yourself professionally, educationally, financially, and all the E's, right? However, you are under the impression that because you have been successful in your life thus far, you're 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. You've been successful so far in every other aspect of your life, that your romantic life or your relationships will just work because everything else has so to speak, has just worked. But I want you to stop lying to yourself. It hasn't just worked. It hasn't. That's not reality. The reality is that you have put in valiant effort to be where you are now. Years of formal education, certifications, licensures, saving for the house, fixing your credit to buy the car. You've hired people to help you get to the next level. If it's not a therapist or it's an executive coach, you've had mentors. You've had people who took you under the wing to teach you and train you. You've had parents who have invested and poured into you. You've read books. Like, where you are now is not, most of you were not born with a silver spoon, right? So this idea of, well, everything else has come to me, so why can't this? That's just not true. You put in a lot of work to be where you are professionally. You put in a lot of work to be where you are educationally. And so with that being said, an expectation that this thing is just supposed to fall into your lap when nothing else did. I didn't just get degrees willy-nilly. The roof I'm under the house in just land in front of me. I wasn't gifted $1 million like our president was by my dad, right? So many of us absolutely had to put in the work and the effort. So this idea that you don't have to put in the work and the effort because Disney said that your husband would just be delivered to your porch, it would just be so easy, it would just be so simple, is an absolute lie. It's an absolute lie. And so I'm here to tell you the truth. And so there are 4 points that we are going to touch on tonight. We're going to start with part 1. Success does not equal strategy. We have part 2, over functioning in dating. That's a big part 2. I did an entire class on my Ready, Set, Love retreat, which next year is going to be in St. Martin, right? At the Sonesta All-Inclusive Hotel, all about over functioning in dating. Right? You're the boss there. You think you're the boss here. It doesn't work like that. Our third point is going to be confusing potential with progress. That's another one. Point 4 is going to be why accountability changes everything. Okay, so again, if you are just coming in, I'm Allison Wellington, certified dating and relationship coach. I primarily work with busy professional women to teach them how to attract and keep the husbands that they deserve. I am hosting a masterclass Where the Marriage-Minded Men Are in 2026. That'll be on Tuesday, December the 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern. The link is in my bio. The link will be pinned in the description. It will be everywhere. And it's already in the comments of this live stream on Facebook and on YouTube. If you're watching me on Instagram, it is linked in my bio. Okay, or you can comment the word strategy and it will automatically DM you the link. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of what I'm going to be teaching on Tuesday, we have to do some back end work. And so that's what I've been doing every day. This is day 4 of live streams. We have tomorrow is day 5, which is Monday. And then Tuesday is where we do the real lifting and the real work. Okay. So again, point 1, success does not equal strategy. Success does not equal strategy. Okay. So again, many of you are super accomplished. You are super responsible, yet dating is confusing. Dating is disappointing, or dating is inconsistent for you. Your romantic life has not worked out the way that you envisioned. You thought you'd be married by now. You thought you'd have the babies by now. Some of you, you're waiting on buying a house. You might be able to do it, but you're waiting on a husband and you thought that you would have the house by now. And it's not because you don't know how to show up. You show up every day. You show up to your therapist's office, to the gym, to work, to your classes, to your courses. You show up for your family. It's not an issue of you not showing up. Instead, it's an issue of believing that just because you've been successful in this part of your life, that automatically you're going to be successful in every other place. And so you have been passive in your efforts. And so you have been passive in your efforts. Is it Lande? Lande Blanc says, girl, you are speaking to me. I hope so. And I hope that you're hearing me, and I hope that you join us for the training. Okay. So I don't want you to take this personally. This isn't about Lande. This isn't about Kristen. This isn't about Keisha. This isn't about Allison. It's about a pattern, right? Where many of us, especially if you're coming from a Caribbean background, a Southern background, or an African background, we as girls to now women were trained to focus on our books, focus on our books, focus on our books, and had an expectation that love was just going to fall into our lap and work. And it doesn't work like that. Then those same parents who said, don't worry about the boys, are now asking us, well, when are you going to give me grandchildren? Well, when was I supposed to practice? Nobody just does calculus, right? You learn addition, you graduate to subtraction, you graduate to multiplication, you graduate to division. Now we're solving for X, algebraic expressions, slope, right? Y equals mx plus b, all the things. We just don't move from don't focus on the boys, focus on your work, don't worry about them, don't worry about them, don't worry about them, to now we're worried. And then you're the one who taught me I was doing it right. And then now you're telling me I'm doing it wrong. Right. And then now society is telling me because I did it, quote unquote, right the way that my parents told me to, now I'm less desirable because I'm seen as masculine and I'm seen as problematic. It's like you can't win for losing. Right. Yes. Lande says, yep, my Haitian parents always asking me when you're going to get married. Right. Oh, Elon. Yes. Elon. Yes. Okay. So this is the life that we're leading. So that means, though, we're not going to just throw in the towel. That means we have to be very particular and very strategic about what questions we're asking, what behaviors we're paying attention to, and to who. And then the to who means we have to put ourselves in a position to be found by our husband. We have to be socializing and networking and rubbing shoulders with like-minded, equally yoked people who want what we want. If we're not doing that, then we are going to end up in a situation that we don't want. Okay? Yes. Elon says, I told God I'm waiting for my future husband to buy my house. Yes, I'm telling you, a lot of women tell me that. Like, they're in a financial position to do it on their own, but they don't want to because home ownership is hard. They don't want to. And however, the price is going up every day. So that means we need to take action. Okay. So bullet point number 1, success does not equal strategy. And this is something that I see all the time. Success does not equal strategy. So again, there are women who have assumed that they figured out their education, they're figured out their career, their money, their independence. That it's just, that's the same thing. But that's more systemic. That's more structured, right? Romance is more fluid. And it doesn't mean that you can't have strategy, because I teach strategy every day of the week for the last 5 years, helping hundreds of women get into the best relationships of their lives, right? But it is more fluid than we would like. You had timelines, you had expectations, there were clear markers of progress, right? You went from graduating high school with a Regents diploma if you're from New York, right? With the highest accolades, then you applied, you got into college, then you went into grad school. There were clear markers of progress. There were clear markers of success, but romantic relationships aren't as clear, especially if you don't know how to make it clear. Especially if you are not qualifying these people, especially if you are not ensuring that they want what you want before you even go on date number 1, because we're afraid that we're going to scare them off if we are honest and forthcoming about what we desire. Guess what? That is the exact man that we absolutely want to scare off. I want to scare anyone off who doesn't want what I want. You are absolutely right. Because a man who wants what I want, and now we're just seeing whether or not we want it together, would not be afraid by me simply stating that I desire marriage. I am in a stage in my life where I would like to create a family. It's the holidays. I'd like to have my own traditions. I can't wait for the day that I'm watching my child open up their gifts and be surprised on Christmas Day. He's running, let him run, because he should be echoing me too. I'm looking forward to having my family. I can't wait to create my own traditions, right? Now, all that's left to be seen is whether or not we want it with each other. But I didn't say I expect you to marry me tomorrow. I'm talking about what my vision is for my life. And anyone who is afraid of that is not an appropriate match. The problem is that y'all keep surrounding yourself with people who are inappropriate matches. And then you say that the entire pool sucks. It's the side of the pool that you're on. We got to change, or the pool you're in. There are multiple pools. There are pools that we never want to touch. There are pools we will never get to. There are depths of the pools that we don't want to swim in. There are depths of the pools that are perfect for us. You got to find the right pool in the right depth. I did. My clients do every day. I have testimonials almost every week. So it happens every day. I say this all the time, that there were 2.4 million weddings last year in the United States of America. 2.4 million weddings last year in the United States. So clearly, people are finding each other. It's about being more strategic and being more fluid in your approach. And fluid does not mean go with the flow. We don't do go with the flow. Fluid means there's a give and a take, and it's not you being domineering like you're accustomed to as the principal of your school, as the lawyer to a client, as the teacher in your classroom, as the nurse to a patient, as the business owner to her employees. That's not how it's going to work here. That's the shift that you need to make internally so that you understand how to lean into your feminine energy so that you can attract the attention that you desire. Does this make sense, people? This makes sense? Okay. So again, dating doesn't come with that unless you create it. You have to create the environment of success. You have to create an environment where you are your softest, most feminine self, and you are receiving the right attention from the right gentleman in the right places. And again, we'll be talking about the right places in my masterclass, which is December 23rd. It's Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, where the marriage-minded men are, and the links are in the caption, in the description, and linked in my bio. Okay, this is the prep work. Part 2, overfunctioning in dating. Jesus, right? So this is where a lot of successful women get tripped up. You're used to carrying the things, you're used to solving the problems, you're used to making things work, right? And so in dating, you compensate. For example, you're giving too much benefit of the doubt. You're giving excuse after excuse after excuse, right? There is only so much leeway you should be giving a gentleman at any given time. Only so much. Anytime that you find yourself overextending and making excuses, then that's your answer. Roughly, I'm giving somebody 2 chances. The first time he's late, I express I didn't appreciate that. Extremely late. The second time you're late, I express that I don't like that. Extremely late. The third time, there is no third time. We're not doing this anymore because you don't respect my time. So this giving too much benefit of the doubt because on paper he looks good, smells good, got a good job, tall, dark, and handsome. Yeah, he's an extremely attractive gentleman and he knows that, and he's playing with you like he's playing with all the other women that he's seeing, right? Something else, you need to stop explaining your needs, right? So I'm not over explaining to you. My boss ladies who are on this live stream, you don't over explain to your staff what you expect for them to do. You give the directive and that's the end of it. If they can't follow through with the directive, they might get a verbal or written, right? There's some leeway. And after a while, you realize you're an inappropriate match and you let them go and you replace them with someone else. That's what you do in the workplace. You want to talk about transferable skills? We transfer those skills that way, right? So over functioning looks like effort, but it does not create clarity. And that effort is unrequited. That effort is unrequited. So I need your effort to match what the gentleman is offering. Actually, it needs to be less. It needs to be less. But if you find yourself doing the follow-up, doing the follow-up, making the first call and the second call and the third call and the text message and a double text, you're doing too much. If he were interested, he would continue to court you. Now, I'm not telling you to not call ever. No, we need to be reasonable. There's a rule of 3s, right? So he calls 3 times, you should be calling on the 4th. He takes you out and pays and plans for 3 dates, you can pay for the 4th, right? There needs to be some reciprocity, but it shouldn't be where you are doing the chasing. It is unattractive and they don't like it. And anyone who's truthful will tell you that they don't like it. So don't do it, all right? Effort doesn't replace alignment. The alignment has to be there. There has to be, in a romantic relationship, we will call it like a interdependency, right? It's a healthy way to depend on each other, but there needs to be reciprocity in your dating experience. Does that make sense? We're going to take a pause before we get to point number 3, because Adriana asked an excellent question. But it's so scary to be feminine before trusting. It depends on how you're defining feminine. Right? So the way that I'm defining feminine is when I'm engaging with a stranger. So it's not me trusting him to take over my finances. It's not me letting him in my house, right? So that feminine energy is allowing to receive. That means that we're dropping the shoulders, right? We're not tight up here. We're dropping the shoulders. We're softening our tone of voice. We're lowering the volume. We're allowing them to take the lead with a smile. With a smile, right? They want damsels in distress. Give them damsels in distress. Oh my, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. They say that they want a feminine woman. Give them some work. Give them some work. Give them some work. Let them do something, right? I give this example in my coaching program, The Partner You Deserve. Every 4th session, I'm going to give it to you guys. It's my favorite, okay? I want you to imagine the president of the United States. Let's go with Biden for the sake of argument so we can have a nice picture in our head, right? You have President Biden. I imagine him in the Oval Office with his feet kicked up, reading the Wall Street Journal, biting on a pen. Someone knocks on his door, the chief of staff, right? His chief of staff. They knock on the door and they say, President, we have an emergency. There's bombs over Baghdad. President, we have an emergency. There's a storm heading into Miami. President, there's an emergency. There is a fire out in California. What does he do? He hops up from his seat. He starts taking action. He's going to get on Air Force One. He's going to make phone calls. He's going to make sure that the governor of that state has the supplies that they need. He's calling the embassies. He's making sure that Americans are flying out from wherever they are that they don't need to be. He's taking action because he has something to do. When he doesn't have anything to do, he's sitting his ass in that seat. You need to give men something to do. You want to be this boss chick? Great. Be that on the job. When you are out socializing and networking and meeting men that you want to lead your household because they eventually prove that they can, let them lead now. And if they can't lead now, they're not going to be able to lead later. But you can't have this expectation that they're just going to come rustle you up and change. You have to present as someone who is willing to take the lead. Our president, say, let's keep the same one in mind, right? Biden didn't bully his way into the presidency. That's usually not normal, right? He was elected. We, the American public, right, did a popular vote, then they do the electoral college and all the things, decided that he would be the most appropriate fit. I mean, even that's the case for our current president. Elected, right? Barring any kind of potential election, whatever, for the most part, elected. So if they're not elected, if you didn't choose them to make this decision, then they're not moving forward. You choose these people, you let them make decisions. Let them lead. You can't choose them and then toss them to the side and then be upset because they're not showing up the way that you give them the space to do so. Give them the space to do so. Okay. So that's overfunctioning in dating. Part 3. So there's 4 parts here that we're going through. Part 3, as we prepare for our Where the Marriage Minded Men Are training, which is on the 23rd, 7 p.m. Eastern. Okay. The links are everywhere. Confusing potential with progress. Confusing potential with progress. Okay. This is another common pattern with my clients, busy professional women. You see what he could be. You hear what he says he will do or what he wants. You feel the connection, but nothing is actually moving. I'm talking to my ladies who are 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65. If you figured it out, it meaning your medical practice, it meaning your law practice, it meaning your nursing degree, it meaning your teaching degree, it meaning your principalship, it meaning you're an architect, it meaning your HR, it meaning your business ownership. You figured it out and you're where you want to be professionally. He hasn't figured it out and that's who you want to continue to see. I didn't freeze. I didn't freeze. That's who you want to see. And that's who you want to be with. It's a problem. And I need you to recognize that just because you see what you would do if you were them, it doesn't mean that they will do it too. I'll say it again. Just because you see the potential, because you see what you would do if you were them, doesn't mean that they are going to execute on that vision. Oh, he's a mechanic. He's in a neighborhood that doesn't have any mechanic shops. Oh, if I were a mechanic in a community that doesn't have a lot of mechanic shops and lots of drivers and lots of homes that have multiple cars, I would open up my own shop. I wouldn't work for the guy that's miles and miles away. That's what you would do. And he would have done it already. Or at least have a real solid plan of action to get there. We got to be reasonable. You here pouring into people who don't have the capacity. And then you're surprised when they can't show up for you romantically. They ain't even show up for themselves. How the hell are they going to show up for you? They haven't even shown up for themselves professionally, financially, as a father to potentially children that they had before you. They haven't shown up spiritually for themselves. But they're supposed to show up for you. Doesn't make sense. It's unreasonable. Potential feels hopeful. I get that. But I need the progress to be grounded in something factual. It needs to be a fact. It doesn't need to be what you would do if you were. Does that make sense? Okay. Communication is shaky or questionable. That tells you whether or not they'll be able to pour into you. You're here holding on to bits and pieces. right? Commitment doesn't need convincing. Poor communication, doesn't have his own stuff together. Have to convince somebody to commit to you? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. All right. Our final point, then I got to go. I got to get the babies ready for bed. We're over time. All right. Why accountability changes everything. Why your accountability changes everything. Right. Adriana says, okay, that's a paradigm shift. Thank you for explaining. Of course. Right. Dion says, I'm not meeting anyone who has it figured out because you're not in the right places. So really quickly, on Tuesday, I'm hosting this training where the marriage-minded men are in 2026. That's where you need to be so that I can give you those hard and fast places that you need to be and how to level up on your own. And I don't mean that to you personally, Dion. I don't know you, right? But generally speaking, how you need to level up so that you attract the type of man that you like. Because that's another gimme gotcha, right? Making sure that the guy that you want wants you. This is not a one-way street. So make sure that you're in that training, okay? This is just the back end to prepare you for the real effort that we're going to put in on Tuesday, the 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern. All right, Dion, make sure you click the link, okay? Last one, why accountability changes everything. So this is why dating alone is so hard. There's no feedback loop. There's no external perspective. There's no one to check your patterns in real time. Right? And so accountability doesn't mean that you're taking full responsibility for everything that ever goes wrong. But what it does mean is that you are clear on how you are contributing to your poor experience or your not so great experience. It can't be them all the time. It can't be. I've seen the statistics on the increase of millionaires over the last 5 years since COVID. So everybody's not broke. It can't be that everybody has a kid. That's not statistically true. It can't be that nobody wants marriage. We already talked about the marriage rates last year in the United States, 2.4 million weddings. So it can't just be it's them. There has to be some onus on us. And when we start taking responsibility for some of the things that we're not doing properly, it frees us. It will free you because now you have that clarity. You can do something different. If I recognize the reason why I keep gaining weight, if I am honest and I say, I keep gaining weight because I keep eating fast food, then I know my next step, stop eating the fast food. If I say, oh, it's the hormones and I got 2 kids and they got me running rampant and I don't have time, then I'm never going to stop eating the fast food. Ergo, I'm never going to stop gaining the weight. I have to say that there is a part of this that's on me. And what am I going to do differently to change that behavior? Accountability is a must. I'm not saying it's all you, even though I believe in radical accountability. Like I want to take all the responsibility and all the onus so that this thing never happens again. But that's not reality for most. And that's not true for most. But you have to take some, you don't go outside. How's your husband going to find you? You got to be for real. We got to be honest with what we're doing. Okay. So it helps you to notice when you're repeating the same choices over again in different packaging. So it's Sean, it's Michael, it's James, different guys, different names, different socials, same behavior over and over again. You're the common denominator. You're the common denominator. All right. So if you are a smart, successful woman who's tired of being confused in dating, the issue isn't intelligence. We've established that, right? It's that your dating requirements need structure. So this is exactly why I'm teaching my paid masterclass, Where the Marriage-Minded Men Are in 2026. It's happening Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. I have put the links everywhere. They're in my bio. They're in the comments. They're going to be pinned in the description when this is done. If you're looking at this on Instagram, it's already in my bio. We talk about environments. We talk about discernment. We talk about consistency. We talk about strategy in a way that's realistic for busy women. Okay? In a way that is realistic for busy women. So if marriage is the goal and you don't want to work harder, you want to put in effort smarter, then you need to work differently. Join me for the training. The link is in the description. The link is in the comments. The link is in my bio. The link is everywhere. All right, folks, I got to go. Super tired. I'm sure you can see all over my face. Super tired. Got to go take care of the kiddos. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern. We'll be back here 12 noon Eastern, where I'm going to hit my final live stream before we get into the training on Tuesday. Make sure you grab a seat. There's only 20 seats available. Only 20. All right, folks. Bye.